This is Brother Saw R. Uh, Tapping in with you real quick for a hot little second with some stuff I want to get off my chest. I want to keep this. I don't want this to be formal. I want this to be laid back. I want this to be like I'm just you sitting across the table from me. We just chopping it up like you one of the family. So we're gonna do it just like that. I want to talk about Yahushua Christ, who the world knows as Jesus Christ. I want to get into what he actually taught. A lot of people, they stand for Jesus. They believe in Jesus. They, uphold Jesus. They uphold his name. Um, they try to uphold his character, but his teachings though. What did he actually teach? What are the things that he told us to do? And I want this to be a mini series. It may even uh, get drawn out to be something a lot longer than a mini series because the Gospels we can go through so many lessons about them alone, and just the teachings of Christ, the things that he taught. And I know if I let the brothers get in, they're going, we can really turn this um, into a season. But yeah, man, getting into that, a lot of people don't really know what he taught. Um, and as we dive into what he taught and the things he actually said and the things he asked us to do and uphold, you see, you look around in the world, you see a lot of people are anti-Christ. They believe that Christ came in the flesh, but they don't believe in the things that he stood for. They don't believe in the things that he commanded or directed or that he put in place and established for us as Christians or us being Christ-like to actually do the same. To follow him, to keep his commandments, to abide in him as he abides in the Father, right? I want to start off in Matthew chapter 5. Get your Bibles out, get your handy dandy notebook, you know what I'm saying? We got dual weapons, dual swords, 1611, mine kind of beat up, you know, and that's expected though. We putting these things to use. The sides, the leathers wearing off the sides. I got I got marking your Bibles, man. Highlight your Bibles up. Write verses down for cross references. You know what I'm saying? I got glue, super glue, and wax holding my pages together, man. Because we put these things to use. We use these books and these Bibles. But I want to start off in Matthew chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 1. And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, so he taught them. So this is his Sermon in the Mount. That's what they like to call it, a Sermon in the Mount. He's talking to the multitude who are Israelites. That's who he's surrounded by. He's surrounded by his kindred, his brethren. And for the first couple of verses, for like the first 6, 7, 8, 9 verses, he's getting into blessed are these people. Blessed are the meek, blessed are the low in heart, blessed are the poor, blessed are the merciful. That's who he's teaching. He's about to soften the people up. But I want to jump down. I'm gonna be jumping down around. I'm gonna be jumping around a little bit too, because I want to get into some key points. Like, I'm gonna keep this thing smooth, right? I'm gonna get into some key points, and I also want to, touch, because people like to say, Christ came with his own laws. He came with his own commandments. When he taught, when he was in his ministry, he established things that were contrary to the law of Moses. He was contrary to the law of Moses. That's what a lot of this thing is about. The discrepancy and the disagreement between us and people who call themselves Christians today is they feel like they don't have to keep the law of Moses because of some things that they may read in Paul's writings, because of some things that they may misunderstand about Christ's purpose and his ministry. But as we dissect the scriptures and we actually study and get into it, we're going to see that they one and the same. Christ is teaching the law of Moses. He's teaching with authority, right? I believe you read that in like Mark chapter 2 when he taught in the synagogue. The people marveled at him because he taught with authority and not like the scribes and the Pharisees, right? So I'm going to read that again. Matthew 5:1. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, I'm going to jump over to verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. A lot of people say, well, he said he didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill. That means he came to do it all, and then after he did it all, it was done, and we don't got to do it. Well, no, not what that means. It would be real funny to say and to think that a man would contradict himself in the same sentence, and he would say, "I come not to destroy the law, or I came not to make an end of the law. I came not to do away with the law. I came not to trodden down the law, or you know what I'm saying? But I came not to do away with the law, destroy the law, but I came to fulfill." And then they say, well, fulfill means to do away. Well, he just said like 3 words ago that he came not to do that. Let's think about these things. Let's think about that. That fulfill. Said he came not to fulfill, and that's why I said I want this to be. I don't want this to be formal. I don't want this because I'm about to pull my phone out. I'm about to look up these scriptures. I ain't got nobody to read it for me. I need both my hands. I got 2 books. I'm holding precepts in this Bible. I'm reading from this Bible. I can only hold so many precepts, and I wanna get that right in the head. So I'm about to look some of this stuff up. I could quote it word for word. Well, I could quote it, maybe not word for word, but I want to be exact and on point. I must come to fulfill what was written of me. Verse. Boom. All right. Luke 24 and 44. I'm going to go to my app. I'm going to keep it all the way real and 100. Nigga talking about they don't use that Google, boy. I use that Google, boy. Okay. Luke 24:44. He said unto them, this is Christ speaking. He said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you. Excuse me. That all things must be fulfilled. There goes that word. Christ said, I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. Fulfill what, Jesus? All things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. Boom. All things must be fulfilled. Some things have not. Some things he fulfilled, like dying on the cross, being led like a lamb to the slaughter, having his hands pierced. We read in Zechariah. Um, uh, 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 um, Let me see. Having his hands pierced, dying on the cross, being tempted. Some things were fulfilled, but other things weren't fulfilled, like him having the throne, him coming and subduing our nations, uh, coming back, to slaughter, um, death, and hell being conquered. Um, Specifically, when he said that was written in the Psalms, um, that the heathen would be given to him for an inheritance. Like these are some things that have not been fulfilled, but these things that were written of him that he would do on earth, this is what he was talking about that he was going to fulfill in Matthew 5 and 17. All right, Matthew 5 and 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Till all be heaven and earth is still here. All have not been fulfilled. Just like I said, all haven't been fulfilled. What's been fulfilled, what he would come to be that atonement for our sins, for the nation of Israel. That those things, him dying on the cross, him being that sacrifice, those things were fulfilled. But the rest of the things fulfilled, the second coming, all that stuff hasn't been fulfilled. So we know that the law is still here. It said out his own mouth. It's still here. It's still play. It's still in place. It's still intact. Right. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach them men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Boom. So boom. He's encouraging you. He's teaching you to teach men to keep the commandments, and you keep them too. And he's teaching you that if you don't teach, if you teach men not to do so, and you teach men to break them, then this is what's going to happen to you. He's still teaching. All right. Now let's get into the meat and the potatoes and the broccoli and the cheese and that was the hors d'oeuvre. That was a heavy ass hors d'oeuvre, but now we're gonna get into the main thing. All right, verse 21. Still in Matthew chapter 5. We dissecting this thing. We're gonna slow roll it. Verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time. You heard it was said by them back in the day, right? Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Boom. So you heard that it been said back in the day, thou shalt not kill. Who told you that? Moses told you that in the book of Exodus chapter 20 with the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder. And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Right. Because if you do kill or commit this sin, you do kill someone, you're in danger of the judgment. Either you will be put to death, depending on the circumstances. You know, you could have killed somebody accidentally. The matter would have had to been the matter would have been had to be sought out by the judges that were set in place in the land. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say, for instance, you were working on your roof and the ladder that you was working on, it fell off your roof and it accidentally hit your neighbor and then he died. You know what I'm saying? Just something like that. Like judges will have to come, people will have to search the matter out to see if you had ill intent or was it an accident. You had places and refuge cities of refuge where you can um, flee from the family members that might have been highly upset about what happened to their kin, so on and so forth. You will be in danger of the judgment. If it was ill intent, you would have to be put to death. If it wasn't, you in danger of the judgment. All right, reading on. And whosoever shall say to his brother, okay, nah, my bad. Verse 22, just read 21, verse 22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. So Christ is saying not only if you kill somebody, whether it be accident, whether it be not, depending on the circumstance or whatever happened, self defense, whatever happened, when they examine your court case, you in danger of the judgment. But Christ is telling you, he's hitting it on a whole nother level, right? He's saying that if you be in danger with your brother, I mean, it's like he said, if you be angry with your brother without a cause, whosoever is angry with their brother for no reason, you hate at the nigga for no reason, you hate him for no reason. You mad and you upset just for no reason, just hating. You're in danger of judgment. God shall be in danger of judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Why is he saying this? Why is Christ? Why is he? People be like, oh well, no, that's something totally. The law of Moses don't say that. There's nothing. There's nothing like that in the law. He's saying something completely different. No, he's actually being on point. He's being on point. He's hitting. This is a heightened sense of the law. Something that's uh something that's way more than the physical. The physical act of murder itself. But what about he's talking about the premeditation. If you be upset with your brother without a cause, then you just murdered him in your mind. It's premeditated murder. Then you had the intent to do it. If you kill the intent, then it's no. If you kill the intent, you kill the action. It does not manifest. It does not manifest into the actual physical encounter of murder. That way you can stay in good stance with the Lord. You love your brother as you love yourself. Um, let's get that actually. Let's not even say that. That's not even in that's in the law. That's in the law. I could think of two places. One of them is in the law, and one of them is in Proverbs. All right. Let me see. All right. This is Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. What's a grudge? A grudge is being upset with somebody, having an ill manner towards somebody, having a hatred towards somebody. That's what that's talking about. Shall not bear thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Christ is teaching the law. This is in the law. He's teaching the law. But you may think, well, why the people who have the law? Why do they need to do that? Because they don't uphold the law, and they need to be reminded of the things that's being said in the law because they are not doing it. Christ already told the Pharisees that they don't uphold the weightier matters of the law, the the mercies and the love and the forgiveness. Right? All right. All right. Moving on. All right. And I want to jump to we in Matthew 5 still. We're gonna jump to verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. You heard that back in the day, do not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, you let a Christian read that, they'll say you can't look on any woman to lust after her, never ever. If you see a girl, or you see a woman and she look nice and she fine, she's beautiful to you, she appeals to your eye, and you look at her and marvel, and you want to have her, that's evil. That's wicked. And you're going against the commandments of Christ. Or Christ. No, that's not what they're talking about. They say, well, the woman is not specified what type of woman it is. Yes, it's specified what type of woman it is because he said that you have committed adultery in your heart if you look on a woman to lust after her. The woman, the woman's status is specified by the adultery. Because when a man commits adultery in the Bible, it's with him laying with another man's wife. That's it's another man's wife. That's what adultery is. When a man sleeps with another man's wife. But Christ is putting it into a different perspective. He's saying that if you think on that woman in your heart, let me rewind. I don't know what type of signet or like today we have rings, right? People wear rings to kind of signify, okay, these people are married. I don't know in Israel the culture back then in those biblical ancient days, what kind of signets or what kind of upholstery, clothing, like when we get into Islamic countries, the women's hijabs, or I think that's what they're called. Maybe wrong. The clothing that the women wear with the thing over their head, and if they're single, it's black. They have to wear black. But when they get married, they can wear colorful ones. I don't know what it was like that in the land back then. So you may not have known that a woman was married. So it's safe to inquire first before you do your lusting, right? Before you look on that woman, because look, we think about that word lusting, we just think of it with so much ill intent. Like I look at my wife when I lust after my wife. Before she was my wife, I lusted after her. Right? What's wrong? I don't. What was wrong about that? She wasn't another man's. All right. All right. What was I at? I gotta read this again. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath commit adultery, right? So adultery is sleeping with another man's wife that doesn't belong to you. Christ is elevating the sense and the teachings on committing adultery. Not only then, but when you think on a woman like that and she may be married, then you manifesting it. Us man, we do this as sport. We'll go get you. I don't know about everybody else, but all of my homies, we'll go get you. Like we see you, we want you, we'll go get you. We got to be careful with doing that because that can turn into you be wanting a woman so bad that she could actually be married and you could be committing a mortal sin, right? You know, something that I think it was Timothy said that he, just a sin that he wouldn't even pray for. Those mortal sins, sin unto death, right? Committing adultery. But this is in the law, right? This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Covet, it means a strong desire to have, right? It's a strong desire to have. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. So Christ is like, you heard it all the time, don't commit adultery, but do you not remember that you shall not covet thy neighbor's wife? Covet is in the inside. The act of adultery is outside. Like it's outside the body. You have to actually sleep with that woman for it to be adultery, right? But Christ is saying, remembering the law, it says, do not covet, do not covet your neighbor's wife. Not have a strong desire to have your neighbor's wife. You can't be looking at your brother's, your neighbor, your friend's wife and be like, dang, I want her. She look good. That's evil as hell. And you going off. And I want to get that in. It's a verse in Ecclesiasticus. Uh, that I want to find. All right. Now, see, Christ had this knowledge. It was other people that was in the spirit. When you start reading the Bible, other people that was in the spirit that had this knowledge as well. Not at the sense and the height that Christ had it, but they was playing with it a little bit. This is Sirach 9:9. Sit not at all with another man's wife. nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire thou fall into destruction. The wisdom of Sirach is telling you that, you know what I'm saying, that like these are the things that lead into adultery. You kicking it with another man's wife, you talking, conversing too much with another man's wife, and I think he says that in the same chapter, in the same chapter, talking about conversing too much with another man's maid. Um, Spending your money, you at the bar with another man's wife, or y'all sitting and sipping and drinking wine together. No, don't do that. And all these other things. No, don't do that. Let's not do that. Christ is teaching the law. He's teaching the Tanakh. He's teaching the Torah and the Tanakh. This is what he's teaching. Wow, it's crazy, man. All right. I want to read verse 29 too. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members shall perish, that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body shall be cast into hell. Right. If thy right eye offend thee, and we know we're smart enough and we're logical adults, sensible. We know that he's not talking about like if your eye makes you upset, it offends you, then take out your eye and then take. No, he's talking about circumstances and situations. Like I give you a key example. We all got social media. Um, if I'm gonna just be all the 1,000. If there's a woman on social media that I may be attracted to, then if she's married, I unfollow her. She's unfollowed. I don't follow married women on social media. I don't do it. Not to say, oh, I only follow single women because I want to holler. No, that's not. It's the point that Christ is speaking on. Because we're all people, we're all human, and we're all men. Christ is teaching you that if you have an obstacle and you know you have a struggle that can offend you, then it's best to just destroy it all out rather than that offense causing you to putting yourself in harm, putting yourself in danger. You know, niggas don't be playing. Niggas don't play about their baby mamas and their wives. A lot of niggas that got done up messing with another man's wife, and we know that's real. All right. I want to skip down again because Christ is gonna keep going into that same position, that same point of putting things away that may offend you. Verse 31, Matthew 5 and verse 31. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, cause of her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. This gonna take some time right here. It's been said back in the law. It's been said of old time. Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. Now, Yahweh Shai or Christ had a run in with the Pharisees that asked him, is it lawful for a man to put his wife away for any cause? Um, Christ said, from the beginning it was not so. It was not so, but for the hardness of your hearts, Moses allowed you to put your wife away, not for any cause. From the beginning, it was not so because man and woman were never supposed to be disjoined, or man and woman was never supposed to be. I'm getting a glare of the sun coming in pretty hot, but man and woman, it was never. They were never supposed to be put apart. Once that covenant between that marriage, that covenant, it was never supposed to be disannulled or broken, severed. They were always supposed to be together, right? And man was not supposed to put his wife away for any cause. Christ says, except for fornication, can a man put his wife away. And we're gonna read that you know, a Christian or apologetic or Bible, your normal Bible thumpers, they'll say, well, the law doesn't say that. He's not teaching the Torah right here. He's not teaching the law of Moses right here. Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1. This is the law of Moses. From Genesis to Deuteronomy, the law of Moses. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. So they, even the Pharisees, when they look at the scrolls in the law of Moses and they say uncleanness, that the word that they would have had in that time would have been it would have been a different type of word. But they would have said uncleanness. That's why they asked Christ, can a man put a woman for any cause, for any uncleanness, anything that he deems, man, look, she don't clean up nothing. Write a bill of divorcement. I don't wanna. Man, I don't know, this woman, she can't really cook like that. It's way more women out there that can do a little bit better. She ain't really holding the house down. Write a bill of divorcement. That's what they was doing in this time under the Pharisees. Write a bill of divorcement. They're probably doing it way before that. Israel gonna go off. But Christ says fornication, right? And I'm about to show you that the same thing that when Moses said uncleanliness is the same type of thing. It's the same thing as the fornication that Christ explained. It's the fornication Christ said in Matthew 5. It's explained, right? So that word uncleanness is Strong's 86172 erga. It means nakedness, nudity, shame, putenda, implying shameful exposure. You expose yourself to something that will cause you to be ashamed. Now, when we think about being naked and being ashamed, when Adam and Eve went in the garden, they knew they sinned. They said, "Man, we are naked. We're not. We're exposed. You know what I'm saying? We're not innocent. We're naked. We're exposed." It says, I'm going to keep reading the outline of biblical usage for this word for uncleanliness. It says, nakedness of a thing, indecency, improper behavior. All right. Christ said, I'm going to read what he said again, Matthew 5 and 32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication. So except for fornication. All right. Put away his wife except for fornication. What is fornication? Fornication could be adultery being committed that will cause your wife to be unclean or naked. Going back to these definitions: nakedness, nudity, shame, exposed, adultery, spiritual adultery and fornication, the worshiping of idols, and I think that's explained in 1 Corinthians. But I want to get this is Leviticus chapter 18. And I'm gonna start at verse. I started verse 6. Leviticus 18. These are the types of fornications or the unlawful acts of sex. So that's when we start talking about biblical fornication. We can talk about the physical unlawful acts of sex, and we can talk about the spiritual, which is idolatry. All right, Leviticus 18 and 6. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother, thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. All right, I'm gonna skip down. I ain't even gonna read it, but it's the sleeping with near kin, your uncles, your aunts, your sisters, your brothers, your mothers and your fathers, your stepbrothers, your stepsisters, that is unlawful sex. We can it even gets even crazier than that. Um, Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. That's verse 22. So homosexuality is unlawful sex. That would be a reason that you can put your wife away, and it would be lawful. Uh, Bestiality is another one. You know, all of these things were things that you could do that would, if they were performed, you could put your wife away. Well, for one, if homosexuality and bestiality, they were gonna be put to death. You weren't gonna have no wife. But and it might be any other types of fornication too, man. I would even have to I would really have to look at that. It is wickedness. Adultery is in the list of fornications. And the crazy thing is, the Most High said that they was doing this type of stuff in Egypt, and they was doing it in the land of Canaan, because this is how they would live their life when they serve their God. Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read up and thoroughly, keep 100. I gotta read up and thoroughly know the judgments for a man sleeps with if a man sleeps with his mother, because that's some stuff that I don't even really, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really thinking about that, but we gotta know the law, we gotta know the judgments according to it, so we can properly understand the language and the culture throughout the Bible. The foundation is the law, right? All right. So we know those are the type of fornications Christ was talking about, and that's the same type of uncleanliness that Moses was talking about in Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1. Something that will bring you to shame, make you shameful, um, something that would make you detestable, right? Now Matthew 5:32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. How does one that marries a woman put away commit adultery himself? So if I have a wife, I put my wife away, and it wasn't for fornication, because he's teaching that because that's what they were doing at the time. Putting their wife away for any reason, and another man married my wife, that man is committing adultery. Why is that so? Why is that so? Let's see. Let's find out. Oh. All right. This is Romans chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the loss of her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. We can also get that in the law, and I'm gonna speak on that, and I'm gonna try to search this at the same time. So a woman is bound to a man based on the law as long as she lives, as long as he lives. All right. Dang, I said I was gonna try to do that at the same time, and I failed. But yeah, a woman is bound to a man. If a woman marries a man sleeps with a woman, they consummate their marriage. She is bound to that man as long as he lives. Now the law says that you can only put a woman away for fornication or uncleanliness, indecency, shameful, something that would cause her to be nude and detestable, right? And that was what Christ was talking about, that fornication, back in Leviticus 18. Um, Now, if you put your wife away for any reason or any cause, it's not know God does not know it's not he God does not recognize that divorcement. So if you go and marry another woman, or you go and marry a woman that was put away unlawfully, she's still bound to that man by God. So if she's still bound to that man and that man is not dead, then you will commit an adultery with that woman by marrying her and going into her because she's still another man's wife. She still belongs to that man. God does not recognize the breaking up of that union because it was not broken up according to the law. It has to be according to the law, right? A lot of people don't even know why Christ said that. They wrestle with that because they don't know the law. All right, this is Deuteronomy 22 and 9, and it reads, "Thou shalt not." Nope, that is not what I want. Deuteronomy 22 and 29. Excuse me, so like it for that. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Boom. May not put her away all his days. They're supposed to be together. Uh, Now he may not put her away all his days, no matter what she do. You know. And if she did commit adultery or fornication, then if she committed adultery or something worthy of being put to death, then she shouldn't be put to death. But right, this is what Christ is talking about. He's talking about marriages that were people that were getting divorced that weren't recognized by God, going finding a loophole or what they thought was a loophole in the law to get a divorce, and it wasn't a loophole, and it wasn't authorized. God didn't recognize it, and now on a spiritual level, you go sleep or you go marry a woman who was put away by a man, but in reality, she was still that man's wife. You commit adultery, right? All right, we understand that. All right, man. And I think that's where I want to end it today. That's where I want to end it today. I think it's a good time. So quick lesson. We get into the law, to the teachings of Christ, which is teaching the law. We cannot dispute it. Cannot be disputed, refuted. Yeah, man. It's a lot still on the table that we could have got to. I wanted something quick and short. Something to get to the people, so you can have something to think about. Um, But yeah, man, Christ definitely taught the law. He definitely said it was not over. He definitely said the law was. He came to not destroy the law and the prophets. If Christ came to destroy the law and the prophets, he would be destroying himself, because the witness of Christ is the law and the prophets. If he came to do away with all the prophets said and all Moses said, then you would have no evidence of Christ even Christ wouldn't have the authority that he had. Nobody could be able to open the book and read the words of the prophets or the words of Moses in the law and say, "Damn, that's Christ. Damn, they was talking about Christ. Damn, Isaiah was talking about Christ in Isaiah chapter 7. Damn, Zechariah was talking about Christ. Damn, Ezekiel was mentioning Christ. Jeremiah, he wouldn't be able to do none of that. Moses was talking about Christ in Deuteronomy 18. He wouldn't be able to do any of that. Paul would have nothing to. He would have nothing to these Gentiles in the New Testament. He would have nothing to convince them of who Christ was, because he would have nothing to teach from, because he wouldn't have a book, because the New Testament wasn't out then. It was being written at that moment. He wouldn't have nothing. He would have. He wouldn't have. He would have no material. So you got to think about these things, put these things into perspective, and sit back and get out of our biases to actually digest and listen, take notes, man. But I hope this video was edifying. We're coming out with more heat, man. Saints advocating for law and truth, full effect. We coming fully loaded, man. But yeah, man. Check out our stuff. We're gonna have some shirts out. Might just send shirts, just send them out. Um, comment your shirt size, man. We're gonna get you a shirt, man. But yeah, this your brother Saw R on White Tea Wednesdays. Shabbat Shalom to all my brothers keeping the lunar Sabbath, and happy Wednesday to everybody that's keeping the Friday, sundown to Saturday, sundown, Shabbat. But yeah, man, I'm out, man. Shalom, how about Shem Yahweh Shai, Baraka.